Let me bring in a very special guest to talk more about this case and help us break down these new facts. Joining us from Nashville, Tennessee, emergency dispatcher and the host of the Music City 911 podcast, Brandon Hall, is with us this morning. Brandon, good to see you. Welcome back on Court TV.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. I really want to start by tapping into your area of expertise, which is 911 calls, right? And so one of them that I'm sure investigators are probably re-listening to, maybe as we speak, is that call made by Shannon Gilbert, the first known victim to have disappeared. And her 911 call, the only 911 call in any of these cases where we have a victim who's been thus identified thus far, it really opened everything up because that call then drew police to that area of Go-Go Beach where they uncovered so many other bodies. It's a chilling call and it's a long call. It's like a 20-minute call, but we have a really pertinent portion of the clip I want to play now. Let's take a listen together.
State Police.
Yeah, there's somebody after me.
I'm sorry?
There's somebody after me.
Where are you?
There's somebody after me.
Okay, where are you?
There's somebody after me.
Where are you, ma'am?
I don't know. No, stop it, please. Stop it, please. Please stop it. Please stop it. No, stop it. Please stop it. No.
We fix that.
Please stop it. No, please stop it, please. Please stop it, please. No, what are you going to do to me? What are you going to do to me? Stop it.
Please, get him out of here.
These people are plotting to kill me.
You see the names Joseph Brewer and Michael Pack there. They are not considered suspects in her death. Michael Pack was her bodyguard who drove her to the home of Joseph Brewer, who was apparently a client. Shannon Gilbert was a sex worker, as all of these identified victims were, something they all have in common. Her body, though, found it in a different area. She wandered off to a marsh area, and she was found on the south side of the parkway. All the other bodies were found on the north side. But Brandon Hall, let me ask you, please, what do you think we can learn from this 911 call now that we seem to have some other context with the charging of Rex Heuermann and these 3 other cases that are now in our criminal justice system?
Well, one of the things that I think, well, first off, if you really think about it, we wouldn't have found any of the other bodies. Anyone would have without this call that she had. So her call started this whole investigation off. With the call itself, kind of listening to it and hearing some of the things, a lot of people, including myself, the first time I heard it, I thought, because of my experience with the 911 calls like this, that it could be a type of thing where she may have been, under the influence of something and paranoid, but all the things that were adding up, the same things that happened with all these other victims happened to her as well. So what might have started out as a paranoia type thing that was induced by something else, drug or alcohol, it could have very easily turned into something that this same suspect has found her in a marsh, in the trench, wherever she was found at, and done something to her. I know that she had a bone in her neck that was broken that's consistent with strangulation. So that's very much, could be the case.
Right, Brandon, that's a great point. Tell me this, because I know all I kept thinking about was how sad this was, that she didn't know where she was. And the dispatcher saying, "Where are you?" And she's saying, "I don't know. Where are you? I don't know." I wondered if she was even intoxicated, just the way she was speaking. She just didn't sound like she had all of her wits about her for whatever reason.
Exactly.
What can you do as a dispatcher if someone who calls you for help doesn't know where they are?
Now we have several different systems. Back then, when she called in, I'm not sure what they had as far as what we call phase 2 wireless. It's essentially a triangulation of different cell phone towers that will show us a rough area of where she is. A good benefit, actually, back then, when she did call in, when she started running away from whoever was chasing her, she started knocking on doors, and 2 people called and called 911, and they gave their addresses. So they got a better location from those 2 people than they did from her. And back then, I'm not sure what sort of software or any type of technology was employed that you could actually see where she was calling from on her own phone.
Is there best advice you can share with any of our viewers who, we hope, God forbid, no one's in a position to be needing to call and needing emergency assistance. But we know we live in a scary world and things happen, sadly. If you don't know where you are and you call 911, what should you do?
The biggest thing is first off, try to know your location, just kind of a general thing. If you know any type of landmarks, any type of businesses that might be around you, or if you can look on a piece of mail inside your house, or the mailbox outside, anything at all that has a number on it or something. And also make sure that your GPS for 911 is turned on at all times. That way, if something were to happen, it can at least be tracked while on 911.
Oh, to make sure your GPS on your phone is turned on to find my location. Right.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
really helpful, Brandon. Thank you for that. I want to play a clip now. This is the Suffolk County Police Commissioner Rodney Harris, who we have been seeing delivering the bits of information that law enforcement is able to share with the public. Here's an interview he did with CNN, and he addresses a couple of the things found in the search of the home.
Why this door was in the house. Once again, we'll have to get down to the bottom of it as the investigation comes to more information comes to our attention. But yes, some of the searches that we saw that he was doing is alarming. It's very, very concerning. And once again, I have to make sure that everybody understands that it's a very good thing that we got this animal off the streets.
A commissioner calling him an animal. Brandon, I keep thinking about what a disaster it could have been if, and I really applaud these law enforcement officers who work this case, everyone on that task force, who they so swiftly picked him up on the street. He had no idea his arrest was coming. They just surrounded him, no issues. It was very peaceful. I keep thinking, oh my gosh, if they would have had to hit that house while he was in the house with all of those guns. I mean, this guy had enough guns to start a war, 200 plus firearms in his home. Brandon, what could that have been like? I mean, thinking like an emergency dispatcher thinks, that as you are. I mean, I can't imagine what kind of a dangerous situation could have been created had he been at the home when they went to arrest him.
Yeah, something like that if he was actually in the home and they were going to do an in-home warrant search, either a knock or a no knock. I mean, I would imagine that either one of them could have been deadly for both him and law enforcement if they got in a shootout over it. And that's something that as a dispatcher, we're always worried about is our officers on the street. If they can prevent something like that from happening, which in this case, it looked like they planned for that. They knew he was going to be, they may have started finding out patterns of him going to work or going to a market or something like that, and they wanted to wait for him to be out in the open. That way there's no chance of that. So that was very smart thinking on their part.
It sure was. Brandon Hall, the host of the Music City 911 popular true crime podcast. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. We'd love to have you back on again and again as you continue following this case and many others. We'll see you soon. Thank you again.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
When we come back, we're going to get you ready for opening day in the Wisconsin House of Horrors case as defendant Taylor Shabusiness is preparing to stand trial for murder. Plus, we have the latest in the mistrial for rapper YNW Melly. A very special guest joining us on the program to give us reaction to the deadlocked jury.